Chaos reigns in Sri Lanka. The ousted president goes back on his promise to resign, fleeing abroad and installing an interim president while he's away.
In Sri Lanka, where President Gotabaya has not honoured his promise to resign. He flew to the Maldives around 24 hours ago, but in a public letter he said that he was appointing the Prime Minister to be the acting head of state while he was absent. Now that has led to anger among protesters who wanted both men to quit. Meanwhile, a curfew is in force. Well, from Colombo, our South Asia correspondent Rajini Vaidyanathan reports.
Their target heavily guarded. Their mood determined. As news spread that Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe had just been made acting president, crowds gathered in front of his office, one of the few government buildings not yet occupied by protesters.
There's a tense standoff now outside the Prime Minister's office in Colombo. Protesters lined up all the way along this avenue, and on the other side here you can see the security forces who are guarding this office, and protesters are chanting that Ranil Wickremesinghe, the Prime Minister, is a thief. They don't just want President Gotabaya Rajapaksa to step down, they want the whole political class to leave, and they want to change.
And this is how they're pushing for that change. A mass movement born out of economic hardship, sending a message to those in power.
We don't want violence, and we don't want to hit or something to that Prime Minister who trying to be a president right now. We only want, please resign.
But it didn't take long for security forces to use tear gas and water cannons.
Prime Minister's office, but as you can see, they didn't manage, and there's a large security presence there. Some protesters still trying to climb in, and just over the gate you can see inside there now just how many members of the security forces are in there, and we can feel the tear gas on our skin now. A lot of people here have been tear gassed, but they're not giving up, they still want to get inside. Well, the protesters are getting closer now. There's a standoff there close to the gates now. Protesters moving forward, they are not giving up. And you can see up there, police, everyone.
Then a breakthrough. Outnumbering and overpowering the police. Yet another protected building overrun by protesters.
Well, this is quite an extraordinary moment. After hours of trying to make their way in, they've finally done it. Protesters have pushed their way through the gates of the Prime Minister's office, and they are everywhere. The security forces, the police, all the armed guards, they're nowhere to be seen. Another public building here in Sri Lanka, which is now being occupied by the people. It really is quite a moment.
But where does that moment go next?
Why did you come here today?
To help my country. I like my country, so I want to come to here and help my country.
But who can save it? As they celebrate, Sri Lankans are still suffering. After taking government buildings, who do they trust to take power? Rajini Vaidyanathan, BBC News, Colombo.